What's good? Merry Christmas from the Boston Clinic and more. Y'all know how we do it. It's your boy CJ Goodfella back, doing it one time for the one time. And we back talking about fighters whose stock went up in 2017 and fighters stock who crashed. Took 5 fighters I thought stock went up. I got the idea from Box Essential. Shout out to them in that article. I'll link the article to the description so you see what they think. And if I forget, just comment. I'll link it to the description. I sometimes do forget to put the article link in the description. But, it started off, man. I say Anthony. I'm not saying nobody in particular order, just 5 guys that I picked. Anthony Joshua, I think his stock went all the way up. Nothing can stop him. I think, that Klitschko fight put him on the casual scene. I know the numbers wasn't well in America because on a Saturday, was it spring or summer, people do stuff at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Always in the move in America. So, that's why the HBO replay did good. But I think the Vladimir Klitschko fight kind of put him on closer to the edge of being a global star, especially in America. And I think he needs to take that Deontay Wilder fight next year and really blow up. And once he sees the pay-per-view money and the money he can make in America, I think he on potentially be on this list for years to come, in my opinion. Terrence Bud Crawford is another guy who got on the casual public radar. Also because he fought on ESPN, fought for the undisputed lineal championship with Julius Ndongo, and got a spectacular stoppage. Last fight on HBO, he beat Felix Diaz into a submission. His second gold medalist he beat into a submission and stopped. So it been a big year just for him, unifying, becoming the first undisputed champion in quite some time. And he got on the casual public radar with ESPN, even though Bob Arum and Top Rank ESPN didn't promote him like they promoted the Lomachenko fights. He bust through that, man. And Crawford is now about to step into the realm of welterweights, and for him, that's a dangerous area to be. But he showed the other day he's 177 pounds, a little bit heavy. He showed he gonna have the power, the strength, and the speed to handle that. And that's not my concern with him going to welterweight. My concern is now he's fighting guys with equal strength, speed, and power, if not more strength, speed, and power. I think we're going to see a real tactical, flawless Bud Crawford when it comes to boxing, in my opinion. Saddam Ali solely made the list because, to me, he had 1 or 2 upsets of the year. Caleb Truex and DeGale, I think he had one of the best Rocky stories as well. That's a close one to call. We do our awards next week. But Saddam Ali did the damn thing. I always knew he had the boxing skills. My problem with Saddam Ali was the fact that he didn't know how to sit down and deliver from the pocket, to sit down and plant. He has real power. You can see his power, when he fought Abregu, moving as much as he moved and walking Abregu into shots. And he was getting real power and leverage on his, he was getting real power without leverage on his shots. And he was hurting that guy, he sat down a little bit with Miguel Cotto and moved up in weight and was hurting Miguel Cotto as well with his power, even though he started to sit down a little bit more. I love to see him sit down a little bit more, conserve some energy, and pick his spots when to move, like Bernard and Floyd and some of the great fighters usually used to do. And you can see they working on that with him and Andre Rozier. He's really, stepping towards being more of a planner and delivering from the pocket as well. And I think, he going to get better. I think he going to be able to compete. People think he a flash in the pan. But I see Andre Rozier as a complete trainer, and he works on his fighters' flaws and gets them well prepared and have good advice in the corner. You know what I'm saying? So Saddam Ali made my list. Vasily Lomachenko, of course. His stock might have rose just as much as Anthony Joshua, Crawford, and Ali's as well. Maybe all of them put together. Beat Rigondeaux, and other big wins he had this year as well. Moraga wasn't a huge win. But, but for me, his stock is up because, the Rigondeaux fight and the Moraga fight to an extent on ESPN made people notice, who Lomachenko was and how skilled he was. And yes, the pom-pom and the cheering and ESPN pushing him very, very hard, harder than Crawford, even though most people think Crawford's a better entity and better star. In the sport of boxing by Teddy Atlas, Stephen A. Smith, and ESPN, is really starting to get recognition, but it doesn't hurt that he's starting to back the talk up himself as well. And Billy Joe Saunders, I think him showing out this year, it was an ugly fight with Willie Monroe, but getting back into things and putting a clinic on David Lemieux when people was trying to make that into a 50-50 fight, or even, a lot of people was favoring David Lemieux because Billy Joe Saunders hadn't been in shape, hadn't been on his best, and people thought he was a complete bum and didn't do their homework on him. He showed this year, December 16th, that he can step out the UK for the first time and gave his best performance and pitched the gym versus David Lemieux. He's in line for a Caleb Truex fight moving up, a Danny Jacobs fight, a Triple G Canelo Winner fight, a Triple G fight. I mean, he's in the driver's seat in the middleweight division. He got next after Canelo Triple G, especially if Triple G wins, because he had a final piece of Triple G puzzle, and people starting to really see the skills. And there's other guys that's up there as well. Honorable mentions, Errol Spence. He's doing his thing. Mikey Garcia, he's doing his thing. Demetrius Bivol, Sullivan Barrera, stock up as well. David Benavidez, Gilberto Ramirez, stock up as well. I mean, a lot of people, continue to do their thing in the sport of boxing. And the sport is a lot of good trending boxers. But these are the 5 that I took. Y'all can let me know the 5 that y'all, or other guys y'all think that believe their stock is up, that should be on this list or above some of these guys on this list. Maybe I'm forgetting some people as well. But we get into the people that stock down now. It's 5 of them that I picked. Starting off with Kell Brook. Just not that he didn't give a good performance versus Errol Spence. Instead, his other side, his orbital bone on his face broke, and I think that's tough to deal with. And I think his stock has continued to flutter and go down because of injuries. And I think it was a dumb move not to take the Jesse Farkas fight and move up 2 weight classes over $1 million or whatever it was, $1.5 million to put his health at risk versus Gennady Golovkin when he didn't prove anything at welterweight. At welterweight, yeah. So that was his fault. See if he can make it back. He's going to a weight class where the guys are bigger, stronger, faster, quicker, if not more skilled than some of the welterweights that he didn't fought. So he got an uphill battle coming for him. But, he has the ability to do it, but I just think he's going to be a fish out of water. And if he didn't get that welterweight showdown with Amir Khan, I think we've seen the last of him, potentially winning big fights. Rigondeaux, I don't think nobody's stock probably dropped as much as Rigondeaux because, even though some of these guys got losses, got knockouts, and, seemed to took bad beatings, Grimo Rigondeaux talked so much junk for years about fighting Vasily Lomachenko. He said it wasn't about the weight. He conceded everything. And in regular world, when people use regular logic and basic boxing logic, it was too much that he was going against with Lomachenko. He gave him the size advantage. The only thing he asked for was rehydration clause, the same day. That didn't affect Lomachenko at all. Lomachenko picked the arena. He had the A side, the judges. Picked the refs, the ring size, who walked first and second. He had everything in his favor, age. And it was just logical that Rigondeaux was going to get beat down, but his mouth, as many boxers do, and trainers do, and sparring partners do, and promoters do, they try to promote the fight with verbiage. And, Rigondeaux was talking that junk, and he had people believing that he can do the impossible, which I knew he couldn't do the impossible for the most part. I know he had a puncher's chance with that left hand, but it's just nothing that he can do with Lomachenko, in my opinion. And, he ain't tweeted in a while. He ain't said nothing in a while. He only made $400K. He did all that trash talking for $400K. You know what I'm saying? He didn't even get $1 million, And at the end of the day, I think he took the biggest L on the list. I'll tell you that. He took the biggest L. But you got Roman Gonzalez as well. Lost to Sorg twice. And I like to say this. That Sorg, could have made my list as well for stock up. I forgot to mention that. He's honorable mention. A lot of people going to be screaming that name in the comment. He's honorable mention for stock up. But, Sorg, I thought he beat him in Madison Square Garden. I seen that live. People trying to say, no, Roman won. And I was like, in the rematch, he going to beat him worse. A lot of people didn't believe me. In the rematch, Sorg put it on Roman Gonzalez. He was too strong. You could tell by his base. His legs were strong. He was too much for Roman Gonzalez. And, for a guy, people said was the number one, super flyweight in the world. Sorg, who was a virtual unknown, he put them all the way together. He got them together, put them together very, very well. And at the end of the day, Roman is trying to come back in April and rebuild his career. But, stock fall, getting beat by the same guy twice. People said it was a controversial loss the first time. I didn't think it was nothing controversial about it. And then he got knocked out the second time and solidified by Sorg that he really lost. And he wasn't the pound-for-pound fighter, top guy in the world, least pound-for-pound number one. Now you're talking about, Sergey Kovalev, he quit versus Andre Ward. People want to make excuses talking about, oh, my nuts, my nuts, my nuts. He hit him in the nuts. It wasn't about the nuts. You got a cup guard on. And a lot of those punches that Andre Ward was landing was on the belt line, and the belt line is not nowhere where your nuts is at. Under the belt line is a nice amount of abs, stomach. And most people ain't never put on a boxing trunks and that little guard right there as well. So they don't know shit about boxing. They say my Roger Mayweather, motherfucker don't know shit about boxing. But he got beat by Andre Ward last year. And not only that, he quit. He couldn't take the body work. Even his own trainer, John David Jackson, said he quit. And he turned it in early last year. But he did come back versus Shavansky, a guy that was tailor-made for him to win and was gifted another world title because Andre Ward retired, which I believe he'll be back like James Toney said. But, I think Kovalev, he ain't in the point of no return. He's just at a point that we don't know if what he got left or what faculties he truly lost versus Andre Ward. Was it, things that's, like his mental, like his confidence? We won't know that for quite some time until he probably faces the winner of the Bivol Barrera fight because he ain't coming back versus nobody significant in February, in my opinion. But the book is out. But I think he's one of the guys on the list that could be salvaged. We talk about that at the end. Miguel got worked by Caleb Truax. He took all the time off to let his arm heal, and he came back too quick versus too tough of an opponent. The gold medalist and Miguel may be done. I'll see if he take the rematch versus Caleb Truax, but he took the hardest L of the year and one of the biggest upsets of the year as well. And you could say, at least I'm old, but Miguel is virtually still young. We're really still young, so we'll see. We'll see, man. But the guys I think that could really bounce back from this list is probably, Kovalev. I think he can bounce back tough. I think he can bounce back and be the number one in his division. I think Rigondeaux can go back and wait and still be good. That'd be number two. Number three, I like to go to Gale. I don't know. I think it's going to be hard for him. I think he may retire. But that just tells you what I think about Kell Brook going to 154 and Gonzalez, returning in April. Especially versus the dude from the UK, Kel Yaffe, whatever that guy's name is. I go Kell Brook, then Gonzalez. But remember, I said Sorek honorable mention for stock.